So all in all, as you may have figured it out, every question is dedicated to one chapter itself. So it isn't as if that all the questions that are provided to you are mixed up, right? They are dedicated to one chapter each, right? Now, we would be studying which all questions you can attempt to achieve the maximum possible score that you can attain with the minimal effort required, right? So the first point that I could possibly give you is avoid studying agriculture and climate. These are heavy chapters, and the tips that I'm providing to you right now, they aren't exactly applicable to everyone. So you may have your own ideas of, doing certain chapters and leaving out the rest. That is entirely up to you. If you leave out some chapters, it's not wrong. If you're doing chapters that I wouldn't recommend, that's also not wrong, but it's up to your convenience. But what I am saying is what I have found common amongst my friends also. Friends and juniors also. Most of them have left agriculture and climate and have gone for the chapters 4, 5, 6. Now, what exactly are the chapters 4, 5, 6? If you look at the syllabus that is provided to you by the board, chapters 4, 5, 6 are soil resources, natural vegetation, and water resources. Now, these are chapters which are simply used for memorizing, right? They aren't, according to me, I didn't find these chapters interesting, and neither did the rest of my friends, right? So they selected only one chapter to do from this, or maximum 2 chapters, right? Maximum 2 chapters. What I would recommend is only study one chapter. So you could study water resources, natural vegetation, or soil resources. About chapter number 3, climate, I would recommend not studying it. It's a heavy chapter, and a lot of my friends faced difficulty in memorizing some points of it. They couldn't wrap their minds around it, and they left the chapter wholeheartedly. Right. Now, there is nothing wrong with leaving out chapters per se, because first of all, each question is, as I've talked about before, each question is dedicated to one chapter only. It's not, spread out, that one question will talk about both transport and manufacturing industries, or agriculture and waste management, etc. It's one question that is dedicated to one chapter. So even if you leave out climate, you have the option to leave out questions, right? It's not mandatory to attempt all questions. So you could leave out climate, and you could also leave out chapter number 8, agriculture. So these are 2 questions that you have left altogether. Agriculture is also a very, very heavy chapter, which I wouldn't recommend for you to memorize each of the topics and pointers that are written across the chapters. So you could leave climate and agriculture together. If we move on to the manufacturing part of the subject, we have mineral and energy resources, manufacturing industries, and transport. Transport isn't exactly manufacturing, but I'll just categorize it into that categorization. In the third category, we have waste management, right? So in the first category, you could attempt any one chapter. In the second category, chapter 7, 9, and 10 is a must, right? Because you are selecting only one question from the the first category, right? So if you selected water resources, that's fine. You could attempt one question related to water resources, but then you have to attempt all 3 manufacturing industry questions, right? So we have mineral and energy resources, we have manufacturing industries and transport, and then waste management. Now, what I would recommend you is to study waste management, is because it's very simple and it's only memorization, right? It's simple and easy, and you can do it. It's 3 marks. Right. You could also try the reverse. So say, for example, if we have the manufacturing category in which we have chapters 7, 9, and 10, you could select any one of these chapters to read, or any one question to attempt related to these chapters. But in that case, you have to attempt or read all 3 chapters in the vegetation category. Right. So we have soil resources, natural vegetation, water resources, chapter 4, 5, 6, which you have to study thoroughly. Right. Okay. Now let's move on to important points to remember in various chapters. Right, so say for example, we have soil. Now, the important points to remember in soil is the texture, fertility, use, and geographic location. I will repeat that again. Texture of the soil, fertility, whether it is fertile or infertile, use, what is the soil used for, and geographical location, whether it is found in the peninsular India, whether it is found in the North India, the Ganga plains, or it is found in the Bay of Bengal plains, etc. And what is the fertility? This would prove helpful, because if we go through the questions mentioned in the, which question is it? Question number 5, right? So if we go through the question number 5, second sub-question, name the following. This soil is sticky when wet and cracks when dry. Now, if you're a person who's familiar with the texture, as I said before, if you're familiar with the texture, then you will find this question easy to answer. Then we have, this soil is mainly used for making bricks. As I said before, if you're familiar with the use of the soil, then you could answer this question easily. Then if we move on to the third sub-question, give geographical reason for the following. Black soil is a residual soil, red soils are generally infertile. So there's a fertility question that is asked. So in soil resources, you have to study, I will mention it yet again, it's very important. texture, fertility, use, and geographical location. These are the only 4 things that you have to remember, and the questions that will be asked in the board paper, you can easily attempt that. So let's move on to our next chapter, water resources. We have structures such as wells, tanks, canals, which is very important to memorize. And we have to memorize their conditions. Condition of application, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the terrain? We have their location, which are they used in Deccan India or they are used in North India, where are they used? And their advantage and disadvantages. Move on to our next chapter. We have minerals and their resources. We have to remember states, use and advantage of mineral resources. So say for example, if we go through the question which is related to the the mineral chapter. Question number 8, mention any one advantage and one disadvantage of coal found in India. So if you, as I said before, the 3 things, I'll repeat them again, the 3 things that are a must to memorize and to learn thoroughly. So the first thing is state, that is where is a mineral found, which state is it found in India? Is it found, it would mostly be found in Jharkhand, Odisha and Chhattisgarh, this belt. And then we have the use, what is the use of the mineral resources? It is used, mostly it is used in automobile and construction, building, applications, etc. And then finally we have the advantage and disadvantage of the particular mineral resource we are talking about. So I'll go through one last question. We have name 2 states where copper is found in India, mention 1 use of it. So we have covered the use, the state and the advantage and disadvantage of the particular mineral resources. Moving on to our next chapter. The important topics to memorize in the manufacturing industries is the supply of resources to 2 plants that are given to us by the board. We have to study about the Tata Steel and the Rourkela plant. So we have the coal, iron ore and water supply. These are the 3 points that we have to remember in each of the plants that are mentioned to us. Tata Steel, Rourkela, where does it get its supply from? So there would be districts and states that are provided to us. Coal is found in this state, in this district. Iron ore is found in this state and this district. And water supply is, so which river is the water supply diverted to? You have to memorize this point very well. It was asked in my board exam. And lucky for me, I had studied that section very well because most of my friends had lost around a mark or so due to this question. So let's move on to our final chapter. We have transport. Now the important topic to memorize in transport, to understand in transport is, remember authorities, example NH and border. Now what I mean by NH is National Highway and border roads. Which authority constructs and maintains these structures in our country? Again, I'll repeat, the structures of national highways and border roads. It has also been asked in the specimen paper. If you could just scroll to question number 11. 4th sub-question, we have the B question. Who looks after the construction and maintenance of the following? So if you know the authority of the country that maintains these structures, you would get all in all 2 marks. So that's it. That brings us to the end of the video. I hope you liked and enjoyed this video. I also hope that you would implement these tips and tricks and you would have understood the pattern of the paper quite well. So take care, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.